All right, here's the story. Mike Wendland with Mark Scott, by the way, and this is Detroit Talk Radio AM 1270, WXYT. Here's the story. Cult leader escapes frozen fortress destroyed by fire. Elves flee. Claus whereabouts unknown. North Pole AP. And this was given to Mike Wendland, printed for Mike. This came from Norm Olson.
Norm Olson, he has actually a list that he sends out once a week with little tidbits in it, and this is a great little parody of the season.
You might want to tape this, folks. Of course, you should be taping the broadcast anyway, because you're always getting information here that is virtually invaluable, and for some folks might be best defined as life-saving information.
So you should tape it, and you get to the station, they put up a website, and people can download it and play it back to anybody anytime.
There it is. All right, let me begin this. Cult leader Santa Claus escaped capture following last night's surprise attack on the cult's ice-fortified headquarters at the North Pole. Claus, who has been under surveillance for suspected illegal distribution of firearms and military equipment, was known to have been inside the gingerbread manufacturing facility with an unknown number of mutant workers called elves.
Continuing along, the multi-jurisdictional task force of Army, National Guard, and assorted federal agencies waited throughout the dark Arctic day for the surviving elves and their leader to surrender to federal marshals. Efforts to negotiate with Claus were suspended just before midnight when Claus failed to answer the phone. Claus had earlier claimed that he was just finishing an important document that he had been working on throughout the year. He reportedly said that he had to check his list over twice, after which he would leave the toy factory. Officials took this to mean that Claus would surrender at midnight after completing the document he'd been working on.
MJTF members involved in the secret operation said that the security had been compromised. They knew we were coming, said one soldier, wounded by friendly fire. Claus is a psychic, said another. He knows everything we do. We were set up. We were shooting at each other in the dark. It was horrible. Losses were not known, but several elves were reported to have been killed when plastic guns they were carrying were thought to be real.
The list Claus was supposedly working on is thought to be the so-called naughty nice list, named in the search warrant and reported to be evidence in the federal arrest warrant, naming Claus as a felon child abuser who has mentally abused children for years by threatening to withhold gifts to modify behavior. A long list of other charges are also reported to be added to the warrant for Claus's arrest, among them manufacturing weapons and technology that could fall into the hands of terrorists.
Shortly after midnight, when it was apparent that Claus was not going to surrender, more than 100 federal agents and combat infantry soldiers, together with Arctic, tracked vehicles and helicopters, provided rocket and machine gun cover, converged on the gingerbread facility where it was said that Claus and cult followers had been manufacturing illegal weapons, radios, boots, and other military hardware. ATF spokesman Charles Steele said the tear gas was intentionally used to subdue the remaining elves in order to protect MJTF forces from possible terrorism. Former cult members have accused Claus and elves of using cocaine in order to produce the massive quantities of illegal products. Federal agents have expressed fear that drugged elves would emerge from the frozen compound with explosives strapped to their little bodies, only to sacrifice themselves in kamikaze-like fashion to protect Claus. MJTF commanders agreed that the elves needed to be defensively gassed.
And Mark, witnesses on the scene reported that neither Claus nor any elves were seen within the building just before the attack, but within moments of the arrival of the first wave of armor, smoke was seen coming from a side window. Quickly, the factory was engulfed in flames reported to have been ignited by timed incendiary devices left by fleeing elves who, according to federal marshals, intended to destroy evidence. Commanders on the scene apparently allowed the building to burn to provide warmth for the soldiers in the sub-zero Arctic cold, in spite of criticism that a valuable crime scene was being destroyed.
Steele, in a hasty press conference, confirmed that an underground entrance had been located in the ashes. that investigators had followed a tunnel to what appeared to be an alternate runway and hangar area. Hay, straw, and oats left in the hangar appear to confirm rumors that two black unmarked sleighs being pulled by camouflage reindeer were seen moving toward the south in the sky immediately before the fire. Air Force AWACS aircraft later confirmed that two objects were headed south, but could not determine their destination or direction with certainty, since after other aircraft were also in the area that night. Sources near the scene theorize that Claus and the surviving elves, together with an undermined cargo, fled. Steele commented, "Their whereabouts is unknown at this time, but we have reports coming in from all over that Claus look-alikes are already starting to show up in places where contraband is being distributed. We're dealing with a very difficult, a very effective syndicate effort here." And this is a network, folks, and we will continue with Mike Wendland on Mark Scott in a moment. Ghastly. Cult leader escapes frozen fortress destroyed by fire. Elves flee. Cult leader escapes frozen fortress destroyed by fire. Elves flee. Claus whereabouts unknown. And as we continue the story, investigative I-Team reporter Mike Wendland says...
Well, now we're picking up just an update where Claus and his group have allegedly escaped from the North Pole complex, and it was reported in a Reuters news bulletin that Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms officials in Peoria have arrested a suspect claiming to be Santa Claus after he brandished a shotgun at a sporting goods shop. Federal authorities in Atlanta say another fake Santa was arrested and charged with deliberate impersonation of a fugitive. Santa lookalikes are being rounded up and arrested and are being charged with criminal conspiracy to protect a fugitive. Justice Department officials are reluctant to issue an armed and dangerous warning for people posing as Santa Claus, but caution, they say, should be exercised, and they said that ho, ho, ho may be a signal to attack, according to one official.
According to BATF officials in Washington, rifles, shotguns, survival gear, and MREs, meals ready to eat, will soon be showing up under trees in thousands of homes. Morris Dees of the Southern Poverty Law Center Clan Watch group said in a statement today that our theory is that Claus is the head of a gang of super patriots bent on destroying the government. We are certain that a conspiracy exists. No doubt Claus is making contacts throughout his network as he plans his December 25th assault on America by arming hate groups. We know he plans to deliver thousands of weapons to people across America. FBI Director Louis Freeh said today, "We do not know where he is now, but we will find him and bring both Claus and his cult followers to justify." To justice. Want to try this again? Let me have a drink here. To justice, if we have to arrest everyone with rosy cheeks and whiskers.
And Mark, unconfirmed sources coming in rumored that a whiskered man surrounded by short, camo-clad people has been seen among leaders of a group calling itself the Militia of Montana. Others are theorizing that Claus may be hiding in the snow-covered wilderness of northern Michigan in an underground safe house established by anti-government militia leader Norm Olson. And in today's news conference, Director Louis Freeh of the FBI assured the press that Claus and his terrorist dwarfs would be found. Quote, "It's hard to hide a jolly fat man in America today." Anyone who is that happy is suspect, and our agents are on the lookout for smiling, camouflaged dwarfs. Attorney General Janet Reno was unavailable for comment.
I love Freeh's comment about "we will find him."
Well, I
remember Richard Jewell and what went on down south. All right, can they find Santa Claus? Of course, that was a spoof, but well done. We don't know who wrote that, do we?
I don't know. It's got Norm Olson of the Michigan Militia's signature on it, but it ended up in my email box the other day, so I'm not sure whether Norm authored it, but it came from his account, so we'll give him credit.
All right, very good. Your books, again, are...